Welcome back, everyone, to more Barrow Hill. I am your host, the Game Hoarder. Let's see what else we can discover here in this old owl barn. We've already gone through this pamphlet here. Some acorns. I'm assuming those went into our basket. Trevor Spencer, esteemed archaeologist. Ha! Found out today that the ancient site at Barrow Hill is going to be dug up by an archaeologist called Conrad Morse. How he got permission, well, I have no idea. Been spreading the news at college. Something has to be done. We're going to get together and stop them. Made our first visit to Barrow Hill. Took a while to find. It's not featured on any maps. It's no excuse. I hate destruction performed in the name of archaeology. We will search for a base camp on our next visit. There has to be a good lookout. Finished the leaflet design today during media studies. Mrs. Burkett didn't notice the old prune. Mark is staying behind at college tonight and tomorrow to print off as many copies as he can. Good to know my college fees are going for something. Print away! We return to Barrow Hill and have set up our base camp in a barn halfway to Witchwood. Barry is meant to be driving his van up tomorrow with some more leaflets. They'll need folding. Sarah and Mark are handing them out at college and will visit St. Awful Shopping Center to drum up interest. It's been raining so much. But I have kept an eye on the archaeologist. Vandals. They've been mopping and miserable between downpours. Moping and miserable. Perhaps it's nature's way of protecting the circle. Conrad Morse has begun visiting the circle and the altar stone during the storms. He's always muttering to himself. He carries his notebook all the time. Scribbling away. Scribble, scribble. No doubt he's planning which part of the site to... I've no fucking clue. That word is very messy. I tried to get a couple of photos, but the weather makes it impossible. Spotted Conrad's assistants walking down the west road. He went to look at that overflowing well. I let him go about his business and returned to the barn. I'm very worried about the floor. It creaks alarmingly and I fear it's unstable. I should be careful where I step. Did a quick Resi up? That's a fucking not an English word. Not an American English word anyways. Up by the stone row. As it was getting dark, Conrad went rushing up past me. I thought I'd blown it. But he ignored me and scampered down to the altar stone like a madman. He shouted something I couldn't understand. Maybe he was drunk. I could smell whiskey. Found a spade stuck into the barrow. I've thrown it deep into the bushes. Ha! Fuckers. They won't find that one anytime soon. Barry drove past and said he'll pop back up later and take over the night watch. The rain has started again, rattling on this tin roof. It will end soon, I hope. It hasn't discouraged the local wildlife, as a rather perky squirrel came through the barn window and left some acorns on the sill. Went to get breakfast at the service station cafe with B. He bought some more leaflets with him. Sarah's joining us later. She's bringing up some cardboard and posts to make placards. We're going to hold another protest march tomorrow. Up to the circle and back. She told B she would call up the newspapers too. Things are hotting up. Spied on Conrad near the circle, scratching at the ground with his own hands like some kind of burrowing animal. He's clearly a fucking nut job. My friend the squirrel has been coming and going. He left me more acorns. Maybe he thinks I can eat them. Funny furry bastard. Sarah arrived, said she'd spoken to a guy called Peter up at the service station. He's Conrad's assistant for the dig. She said he was friendly until she mentioned she was part of the protest. Bet she fancies him. We all climbed up the hill to the circle. The woods are rather frightening in the dark, like something out of a horror movie. We observed Conrad from the edge of the mound. He seemed to be arguing with himself and walking from stone to stone. We snuck away after a while. He's getting creepy. We were all woken up by the strangest sound, a dull rumble or scraping sound. Then the barn floor started to shake. It didn't seem like machinery or passing traffic. Sarah was very scared. We couldn't see anything outside the windows. It all went quiet, too quiet. We sat looking at each other for some time, listening as hard as we could. Then suddenly someone or something slammed into the doors downstairs. By the time we'd climbed down to look out, there was nothing there. Mark thinks it was someone from college playing a trick. I'm not so sure. Woke up very tired after last night. I don't think any of us went back to sleep properly. We've been making the placards for today's protest. Sarah's taking a break outside as the paint fumes have made her feel dizzy. Perhaps it's a good time to stop for lunch. We're going to walk up to the service station once the paint is dried. Barry's already waiting up there in his van. Hopefully a reporter from the papers and some new recruits will turn up, especially with all those leaflets we handed out. I'll be glad to never fold another leaflet in this lifetime. Barry thinks we should paint a sign under the standing stones. We have to make our voice heard. We can't let the ancient site be destroyed any further by those crazy archaeologists. All is set. Tonight is the night we will save the stones. The others don't know, but I have a strange feeling of dread. I can't place it, nor can I shake it. What could possibly go wrong? Maybe I've been watching the stones too long? Perhaps I'm delusional, but I would swear I saw the sentry stone move as dusk was falling. Okay. All right, we got a gas torch, it looks like. Some rubber tubing. Oh yeah. Fuck that lock.
Who's that? Oh, it's you. I thought it was... These cameras are rubbish. When did you get here? It'd just gone 8:15 when this all began. Just after that power surge. And Conrad driving off down the hill in his Jeep. Then that other car arrived. Those poor people. Where was Conrad driving in such a rush? Find him. He'll help you. Get away from me. couldn't have been real. I must have been dreaming. It's like living in a...
Check out these motel rooms, since we have some codes here. Okay. Guess we gotta go up the stairs properly. Is there room 2? I did not write it down. Oops. Four, 8, 9.
This town hunts us.
Hey-o. Got us a mobile phone here. PDAs, mobile phones, all that outdated shit. A spade. Hi, Pete. I saw an article about the dig in the newspaper today. It condemns those working on it and anyone supporting it, so not overly positive. It's a small, cheap article. Even so, you know, there are some fanatical people out there. They are opposed to the idea of any archaeological investigations. A small site like Barrow Hill is bound to upset them, especially those based down in Cornwall. They think the county is an island cut off from the rest of us. The article has usual big-mouth quotes and some ridiculous talk of evil tidings. What are these people like? Be careful, you know how obsessive some people can be. Hopefully the site is secure and Conrad knows his enemies. Lucy. Should we tune in with our favorite radio host?
Somebody's messing about up here with me tonight. Freaking me out a little, which I assume was their idea. Why anybody wants to spend a night crashing about in the bushes, I don't know. Maybe Wincy will see them off. I can't get an outside line, but hopefully you'll be able to call in to me here at Barrow Hill on 585-2131. It's exactly 15 minutes to 8. No, that can't be right. Looks like my clock stopped. Well, this is Emma Harry. Why not give me a call and let me know the correct time? The number again is 585-2131. I've lined up some more tunes to ease you into the night, so let's get down to business.
585-2131. Ooh, it's a phone charger. There's the map that I believe the same map that we have in our book, but there's an X marking the spot down here. That's where the owl barn was.
Why not give me a call here at BHR on 585-2131? A warm hello to any late-night listeners out there.
Dear Lucy, thanks for the letters. It's been a long time since we spoke.
You're looking good these days.
I know there's comfort in knowing you're scrutinizing our findings.
Not caught up with you.
Your report on the soil samples from our trenches arrived yesterday. Conrad beat in details. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Conrad wanted a full survey of the hill, including the outer circle, using GPS. But the machine seems broken. Instead, we have opened up an explorative trench into the mound in the Barrow, and in the center of the circle. The geophysical survey suggests we might have some interesting finds. I'll keep you posted.
Omega-3 regeneration.
Conrad has become more fixated with the site than the protesters, the hippies who arrived recently. They've been hiding and stealing things in the night. We've resorted to hiding our stuff in an empty motel room. It's a pain, but necessary. I've noticed Conrad's been sipping a little more than usual from the hip of flask of whiskey. He's all worked up tonight after losing the damn thing. We were digging a new trench, and at the time he's gone out again to look for it. It's a strange devotion. Hang on. Weird, Lucy, listen. Something very strange is going on here. At first I thought it was my imagination. I'll tell you more in person. Tell that dumb bitch on the radio to shut the fuck up while I'm reading. That's right, you should be playing music. Fucking bitch. Not playing goofy fucking porn music. Journal of Pete Aston. What a day! I've been given the opportunity to join Conrad Morris' excavation of the scheduled ancient monument known as Barrow Hill. I've begun this journal to keep track of information regarding the project. Professor Morris has personally funded this dig, is providing a more than generous wage. The funds will allow me to investigate other sites I've been dying to get my trowel into. I was surprised that permission to dig the site has been granted. The initial documents submitted by Conrad suggested the Barrow has been left undisturbed from ancient times. The stones are still standing and are very impressive from the images I have seen. They're all unique with individual shapes and character.
Give me a call here at BHA.
Look, you fucking bitch.
585-2131.
Trying to fucking read, you dirty motherfucker. Alright, anyways. The initial document submitted by, I don't know who the fuck it was. So, Conrad suggests that the Barrow has been left undisturbed from ancient times. The stones are still standing and very impressive. From the images I have seen, they are all unique with individual shapes and character. Barrow Hill has so far been kept out of the tourist eye, and even local people avoid the area. I hope this means the dig goes uninterrupted. Conrad's timetable for the dig arrived this morning. His objectives are clearly set out. Our first task will be to establish authentication of the stone circle by digging a test pit trench around each stone. Any finds will be recovered and soil samples collected from each strata. All collections will be initially examined, but before being shipped off for detailed scientific investigation, photography, and conservation, which Mr. Morris tells me has already been arranged. The trenches will need to be recovered almost immediately, as members of the public could turn up at any moment. Thankfully, storing the soil and turf is not a problem. I had another letter from the Professor Morris. He's keen to begin work on the site and has asked me to join him in Cornwall. I shall leave later this week and meet Conrad at a small branch-line train station known as Witchwood. I can't wait. And then some funky Celtic horse drawing. The Barrow Hill site is amazing and unspoilt, with exception to the service station that will be home for the coming months. All the equipment is unpacked and ready. There are some friendly staff here at the service station. They seem pleased to have guests staying. I have the feeling this area doesn't get many visitors. Tomorrow we'll begin the first task to establish the site's authenticity. We will begin with a circle around the apparent barrow. The barrow does seem rather small. No doubt more lies beneath. The concentration of ancient monuments here at Barrow Hill is astounding. How they've survived over the centuries is a mystery to me. Conrad has already had the top of the hill surveyed by the geophysics team. They'll process the data and send us the results soon. I still find geophysical surveys an amazing asset. To be able to look through the earth and see what is below using radar or magnetic signals. The interpretation will be interesting, but nothing is quite like revealing the past layer by layer. I look forward to putting my trowel to use. We finally begun digging up the hill. I began the first test pit around the small stone known as Melka. It stands second to the left as you enter the circle by the information board. Melka. The stone is evidently in its original position. I found a small broken pot. After initial study, I packed it up with the contents of soil, ready to send off for further study. What could have been contained inside this pot? Maybe more pot? I don't know. We have speculated that the pot is a later addition to the site. It looks too small to have been a burial cremation. Maybe it was an offering? An offering of pot. Conrad has been digging Test Pit 2 on the exact opposite side of the circle, a stone known as Gavrok. It looks like a little person with their hands on their hips. In fact, most of the stones look like one thing or another. No wonder there are so many stories about the circle in these parts. The soil conditions here are good for the preserving finds. I've dug around the Baligo stone today. It's the first stone on the left of the entrance, according to the service station's notice board. It's amazing. A total of 3 pots have been recovered, one in front of each stone excavated. So far, 2 almost intact, the others broken into fragments. It looks like the pots might have had some ritual significance rather than burial, but what that ritual was may be lost to the corridor of time. The weather has been very kind during the day, but the nights have a cold chill about them. When the sun goes down, it plunges this area into total darkness. I've been digging pit 4 around the Dolmont stone. Another pot is slowly emerging. I hope to lift it tomorrow, to the safety of the finds tray. Conrad has been looking around the outer circle these last few days. He says he's trying to understand the possible purpose of the site. He didn't visit the circle at all today. I saw him sipping away on his hip flask near the altar stone deeper in the woods. July 4th, Independence Day. Conrad's been helping me excavate around the Hammerstone. Oh, the Hammerstone. We dug a larger trench this time and took further soil samples for analysis. We uncovered another broken pot in the process. That's 5 pots now. That's a lot of pot. Conrad has become a little less chatty. I guess his mind is busy working on ideas. It feels a little lonely here. The staff at the service station are nice, but simple. One girl, Maggie, is studying in night school and hopes to go to the university. At least she has some ambition to do more than serve chips. No matter how deep I dig there's still no sign of the Hammerstone's base. Conrad said to leave a trench for now and move on to the Kaliak Stone. I have begun trench 6 to the right of the entrance, and next to the stone known locally as Gavrock. I've backfilled the trench like we did with the others. The site still looks as it did before. Once the turf is replaced, you wouldn't even know we'd been there. Whilst I continue my excavations at the Kaliak Stone, Conrad began trench pit number 7 around the taller stone. It stands toward the rear of the circle as you approach the center. I wonder about the origin of the stone's names. Conrad's current excavation is around Henrik, which we were told it is known as. This morning I found a bunch of fern leaves attached to my motel room door. No doubt someone thought it was funny. Actually, it looks quite nice. Conrad is working around other areas on the site, leaving me working on the trenches. He asked me additionally to look at the outlying menhir, known as the Sentry Stone. He was quite insistent. I have left the other trenches whilst I do that. I've dug deep to what seems to be the base of the Sentry Stone. There's no dramatic finds, unlike the stones in the circle. I think I saw some small charcoal-like lumps in the soil. I've sent a sample to be looked at under a microscope. Conrad has locked himself away in the motel. I assume he's had some bad news. He's often writing away in his journal. He is funny. He carries around his PDA and modern gadgets, but scribbles in an old notebook. I guess he can afford to be eccentric. This morning we discovered that the trench pits have been refilled. We had lifted the turf, as always, and stacked it ready to place back. However, this morning all was relayed neatly, almost as if the ground had not been disturbed. Some tools were found, broken in the undergrowth. Somebody doesn't want us here and is messing about with the excavation. It's probably some dickheads in the owl barn. How long is this motherfucker? Jesus Christ. Conrad has left in his jeep, saying he will return with some remote cameras. They will allow us to watch the site after nightfall. I hope he returns soon, even in its increasingly reserved state. It is nice to have company. Conrad and I have been busy surveying the outer area yet again. This time we've tried to use his GPS system to plot the shape of the land. I fear the machine is broken. The signal here is erratic. We won't be able to get the digital map Conrad wanted. I'll have to draw up all their own plans. We've heard from the lab. The report of our dig finds have arrived. I was surprised to read who was working at the other end. I haven't seen Lucy in a long time. If things had been different back then. Oh, memories. Received another letter from Lucy. She hopes to find Barrow Hill, what would be nice. She'll also get a chance to see the site herself. I spent a few hours this afternoon visiting our neighbor, the local radio station BHR broadcast from the other side of Barrow Hill. Despite the area being returned to a marsh-like habitat, Miss Harry seems to be making the best of the situation. I think she has plans to run the place as a wetland center. Well, she gave me a bundle of bumper stickers and flyers. I guess I'll have to listen to her show. Finally found my journal. Time for a long overdue update. I have no idea why it was vanished or stolen. During the night, the dig equipment was scattered around the area, and the tent was half knocked to the ground. There have been some protests recently, which haven't helped matters. They are doing more damage to the site than our archaeology ever could. George, the manager of the service station, has allowed us to use the empty motel room to store some of our equipment to protect it. The room has only just been decorated, so I promised there would be no muddy spades and boots. He sent Ben over to help us move the equipment. Protesters are vandals. Rain, rain, rain. I think Conrad has been singing in his room. I've heard some strange sounds at night, not helped by the blasted wind chimes nearby. Perhaps he was singing along to them. The rain has just let up. The nearby well was overflowing today. I shall have to look up more details about that well. In the legend of Saint Aneka, something is inscribed on the slab, which is erected outside the entrance, but isn't clear enough to read. Other wells I've visited have usually developed from a pagan myth or legend, later to be associated with a Christian saint. Wells are often reused ancient religious or pagan sites. Tomorrow we'll begin phase 2 of the dig. We're going to start at the first light to give ourselves a longer day. The aim is to authenticate and perhaps date the Barrow itself. Exciting times! This will be the first exploratory trench to open up the mound. Sometimes I wonder if we are doing the right thing, but Conrad's enthusiasm is persuasive. What we find will help us protect the site in the future, but I still feel a strong sense of unease. I'm bound to be busy over the coming weeks. This dig has been an adventure, and phase 2 will take it to a whole new level. In fact, it'll be a level below. Holy fucking words. A lot of reading, folks. A lot of reading, so hopefully you enjoy that. I have a little something completely opposite planned for phase 2 of our Halloween adventure together. Unfortunately, I'm a very busy man recently, and with work and personal life stuff, which I'll expand upon at a later date, but not as much free time as I had on the past couple Halloweens. Alright, I think we've done all we can in here for now anyways. Whoa. Some more darkness. Stop the dig. Stop the dig! There's nothing like a little hike in the darkness. What the fuck? I guess that's death. And I'm glad it didn't make me reload because it's been a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and save because now I'm scared. Red-capped mushrooms. I'm imagining it's the dryad slumber mushrooms here. Maybe we can get these mushrooms now. These droopy white cap motherfuckers. Maybe these. But I don't see the yellow. Shaggy ink cap. Cream with brown flecks. Yeah, maybe. A little bit of brown flecks there. Where's our basket? I still think it's weird you can't see what you put in the basket so far. Anyways, folks, that wraps it up for this episode of Barrow Hill. We'll see you soon.